Would you believe it? Last year, using 2 big bags of sawdust, I almost killed my entire tomato patch. The leaves turned yellow as straw. The stems went soft, and my prized heirloom tomatoes were on the edge of death. I thought it was disease. I thought it was lack of water. After 2 weeks of frustration, I finally found the real killer, the treasure sawdust I had spread around my plants. But today I'm going to tell you the flip side of that same story. That same sawdust that almost killed my tomatoes has now become the best fertilizer in my garden, 4 times better than store-bought compost, and it costs nothing. Today I'm going to teach you this forgotten sawdust compost method from start to finish. Follow this, and from now on, sawdust will never be garbage again. It will be black gold for your soil. Let me first tell you how I fell into that trap. My neighbor John was remodeling his kitchen and had a pile of sawdust. He asked if I wanted it. I thought sawdust as mulch, great for holding moisture and suppressing weeds. I spread a thick layer, 3 to 4 inches, watered it in, and felt pretty pleased with myself. 3 weeks later, my tomato leaves started turning yellow from the bottom up. Soon they were bare stick. I blamed the sawdust, but later I learned it wasn't the sawdust's fault. It was my own ignorance. Let me explain the temperament of sawdust. Sawdust is almost pure carbon. Scientists use a measure called the carbon Fe-to-Fe nitrogen ratio, or CN. Healthy compost has a CN ratio of about 10 to 1 to 20 to 1. But fresh sawdust, it is more like 500 to 1, sometimes even 600 to 1. That is 500 parts carbon to 1 tiny part nitrogen. When you mix that high carbon material directly into your soil, the soil microbes go crazy, all that carbon a feast. But to digest that carbon, they need an energy source, and that source is nitrogen. Sawdust itself has almost none. So the microbes steal nitrogen from the surroundings. Your plant roots can't compete. They starve. This is called nitrogen fixation, or nitrogen robbery. The yellow leaves, the stunted growth that is nitrogen theft. So spreading fresh sawdust on your garden, or mixing it into your soil, is a huge mistake. But what if we ferment the sawdust first? Feed the microbes ahead of time, let them break down the carbon in the sawdust, and then put it in the garden. Then it is not robbery, it is a gift. That is the sawdust compost method. I am going to teach you, but first a hard safety rule. Not all sawdust is safe. Sawdust from plywood, Maryland F particle board, or any painted, stained, or pressure. Treated wood contains formaldehyde, heavy metals, and preservatives. Those chemicals will leach into your soil, get absorbed by your vegetables, and end up on your dinner table. What does safe sawdust look like? Uniform color, pale beige, smells like fresh wood. No chemical smell. If you are not 100% sure where it came from, leave it alone. Go to a local sawmill, woodworking shop, or tree service company and ask, is this from untreated natural wood? Most of them will be happy to let you haul it away for free. You are helping them get rid of waste. Once you have safe sawdust, let's get to work. Here is what you need. A pile of safe sawdust, as much as you want. A high nitrogen source. The cheapest option, your own urine. Fresh urine has a CN ratio of about 0.8. 1 nearly pure nitrogen fuel. The mix is 1 part urine to 10 parts water. If urine isn't your thing, use chicken manure 3 parts sawdust to 1 part fresh manure. Cow manure works too. Similar ratio. You'll also need a container big enough to hold it all, a large plastic tub, an old bathtub, a wire bin, and finally, a handful of wood ash and a handful of crushed eggshell powder. We'll get to those later. Step 1, put the sawdust into your container, and as you add it, spray it with the diluted urine or mix in the manure. Moisture is critical. Here is how to get it right. Grab a handful and squeeze hard. If water drips through your fingers, it is too wet, add dry sawdust. If you open your hand and the material falls apart like dust, it is too dry, add more liquid. The ideal state, when you squeeze the material holds together, you see a drop or two of moisture between your fingers, but no stream. Then when you release, it crumbles easily. It should feel like a wrung fay-out sponge. This step determines success or failure. Step 2, fay stick a wooden stake or an old PVC pipe in the middle of the pile to create an air channel. The sawdust needs oxygen or it will stink. Every week, turn the whole pile with a pitchfork fay, bring the outside to the inside, the bottom to the top. Step 3, fay cover the pile with old cloth or black plastic, but don't seal it tight. Fay leave some gaps. For the first 2 weeks, the core temperature will rise sharply. Stick your hand in fay. You'll feel real heat. 130 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. That temperature kills pathogens and weed seeds. If the temperature doesn't rise, your nitrogen source is too low, or your moisture is off. Add more diluted urine and mix again. After 3 to 4 weeks, the temperature will start to drop. Now I am going to teach you an advanced trick. Fay introducing trichoderma. Trichoderma are beneficial fungi. You can buy powder at garden centers. Sprinkle a handful into the pile and mix it in. Trichoderma aggressively break down lignin and cellulose, the toughest parts of wood. They can double your decomposition speed. And when you eventually put this compost in your garden, the trichoderma move in with it. They form a living barrier around your plant roots, suppressing soil fay-borne diseases like wilt and root rot. They also stimulate root growth. This is a secret that commercial nurseries know, but rarely share with home gardeners. There is another detail that often gets overlooked. During the composting process, organic acids build up, making the pile more and more acidic. If the pH drops below 6.0, nutrients get locked up. Fay, your plants can't absorb them, no matter how rich the soil is. Here is the fix, Fay, and you have 2 free ingredients. Wood ash from your fireplace is alkaline. Sprinkle a thin layer on the sawdust as you build the pile. It neutralizes acids immediately and adds potassium. Eggshells, Fay, wash them. Dry them, grind them into powder. Sprinkle that in too. Eggshell powder is calcium carbonate. It neutralizes acids slowly over time and adds calcium, which prevents blossom end rot in tomatoes. The trick, as you build the pile, between every few layers, dust a thin coating of wood ash and eggshell powder. This prevents pH problems before they start. The whole fermentation process takes about 4 to 6 weeks in summer, 8 to 10 weeks in winter. How do you know it is done? 2 ways. First, smell it. Grab a handful, bring it to your nose, and breathe deep. If you get that deep, rich, earthy smell of a forest floor after rain, Fay, not sour, not like ammonia, Fay, you've succeeded. Second, look at it. The pale yellow sawdust has turned dark brown to black, crumbly like high Fay grade coffee grounds. You can't recognize the original sawdust shape. So what makes this sawdust compost so special? Regular compost Fay made from kitchen scraps and grass clippings. Fay breaks down completely within 1 growing season. It gives a quick nutrient boost, but it doesn't last. Sawdust compost is different. The lignin in the wood breaks down into highly stable humus. That humus stays in your soil for years. It holds water, Fay, in sandy soil. You can cut summer watering in half. It aerates, Fay, in heavy clay. Those tiny wood particles create channels for air and it has a high cation exchange capacity, Fay. It grabs onto nutrients like calcium, magnesium, potassium, and holds them, preventing them from washing away in heavy rain. Then it releases them slowly to plant roots, exactly when they need them. It is a built-Fay-tin slow fein release system. I did a side Fay B Fay side comparison for a year. On the bed where I used sawdust compost, I cut my fertilizer use in half and still harvested 30% more tomatoes. And they were so sweet my neighbors asked for my secret. How do you use it? Mix the finished sawdust compost directly with your garden soil at a ratio of up to 1 part compost to 5 parts soil. No fear of burning roots, Fay, it is fully aged. Use it as a base fertilizer in planting holes. Spread it on the soil surface as mulch, or mix it into seed fade starting mix. Any leftover can be stored in a sealed bag in a cool, dry place for a year or 2. I went back to my neighbor John, grabbed the leftover sawdust from his pile, made this compost, and gave him a bucket back. He spread it on his vegetable bed. The next year, he didn't have a single yellow tomato leaf. His plants produced so many tomatoes that the support stakes bent under the weight. Now he tells everyone, my soil came alive. Let me wrap it up. Spreading fresh sawdust directly on your garden causes nitrogen robbery. Your plants starve. But ferment it first with a high Fe nitrogen source, urine, or manure for 4 to 6 weeks. Add trichoderma, wood ash, and eggshell powder, and you turn garbage sawdust into black gold that outperforms ordinary compost for years. Safety first. Only use sawdust from untreated natural wood. Get the moisture right. The wrung out sponge test. Turn it weekly. When it smells like a forest after rain, you've succeeded. Comment below. Have you ever used sawdust in your garden? Did you fall into the nitrogen robbery trap? Will you try this method? Hit like and subscribe. Next time, I'll show you how to make a soil activator from another waste material. Take care of your soil, and it will feed you for a lifetime. I'll see you next time.